Welcome to another edition to Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends. Hi, my name is Kevin McLemore. I am joined with my friends, my co-host, Mr. Naheem Garcia, the thespian. Oh, he is doing such a great job out there in the world. Keep an eye out for movies to come. We'll talk about his projects and what he's currently working on and what he has worked on. We have that go-to guy. We have Ife. Entertainment entrepreneur. That's a young man that is stepping up and putting them down every single day. This show was originally created to take one of more than 300 motivational quotes that I had created for the contents of my books and over 40 years of studying human behavior. Curious, I always wondered how these quotes landed on other people. I was wondering if they were just words that just laid there on the page or were there a conversation to be had. We meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. religiously, except for Christmas. We share original quotes. We toss it out as open-ended questions to our friends based on their interpretation and their perception for the day. We talk about this. This space was designed not to make you comfortable, but to encourage you, inspire you, educate, create a model and framework just to make you think. So today's quote was brought to us by Mr. Naheem Garcia.
Come on,
hopefully I can get it right because he is very fond of the originator of this quote, Mr. George Washington Carver. So the quote, how far will you go in life on being tendered with the young, compassionate, with the aged, sympathetic, with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and the strong? Because someday in life, you will all have been there, been one of these.
You'll always have been one of these.
Yeah. See, that's the reason I'm not an actor. You deliver the lines much better than I do, brother. All right. I need notes. I need what Danny Glover does. I need a little earpiece so someone can give me my.
Is that what Danny Glover does? Because sometimes I wish I could use a piece like that to help me.
Believe it or not, my good friend Ray Liotta, when he was doing Dumble Drop, was highly pissed off because Ray is one of these people that comes prepared. And he said that Danny showed up and he was pissed off because every time Danny flubbed his lines, they had to give him his lines to an earpiece. So all I know is from that conversation, it's hearsay. So Danny Glover, if you're out there, I'm going to say, the only experience I had for you wasn't pleasant because I was at a basketball game and you treated me like shit. So my personal experience with you, Mr. Danny Glover, was not pleasant. But this quote may go ahead and change that because I have found grace in my life. So we're going to turn the page of that conversation and turn it back to the cover story today, what we're doing today and nothing but positive. So Mr. Naheem Garcia, I know someone's going to come after me, but that's okay. Wait a minute. Isn't that such thing as the First Amendment? All right.
You have the right.
I have the right
on a Sunday.
I'm just sharing an experience. And if they always say it's not, how you're remembered when you're in the room, is how they make you feel after you've left. So, all right, I'm on a roll now. I can't.
Yeah, you're on your soapbox.
I can't wait till tomorrow's episode about the LGBTQ plus interview, which is great. So, Naheem, go ahead in your voice. Let's hear that quote.
Can you read it one more time for me?
I'm going to read it. How far will you go in life depends on your being tendered with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and strong. Because someday in life, you will have been all of these.
George Washington Carver.
Yeah, buddy.
One of the most gentle voices and most intelligent individuals in the world. What a beautiful man, the way he put that together. When I read this for the first time, I had to sit back and think about it. It was sitting on my mantle in front of me. I guess my mother, somebody gave it to me. And I've been looking at it. And I looked at it and never paid any attention to it. And one day I read those words. And I said, he's right. We're real quick to, for example, you don't know what was going on with Danny that day. He might have been having a real problem and maybe reacted wrong, and then you find yourself in a similar situation and respond to somebody a certain way. and be like, I remember when I felt that way about Danny. You know, it comes at times in life that we have to stop thinking that we can look down or always judge somebody without really putting ourselves in their position. That's why I love being an actor. I have to force myself to put myself in other people's shoes to think about exactly why did they make that move? Why did they make that statement? Why did they do that action? Why? You know, because sometimes we don't know. We don't know. We're real quick to judge. I'm real quick to judge. I know that about myself. I'm real quick to judge without really thinking about and finding myself in a situation to say, you were judging and look now. Now look how wrong you were. Now look how wrong you were because you didn't take the time to fall back and think about why. You know, we have to be tender with our young and our age. We have to be tolerant. We have to be tolerant with the strong. You know, we have to be tolerant because at some point in life, you will have played all these parts. In life, you will be in trouble. You will experience pain. You will experience happiness. You will experience wealth. You will experience poorness. You will experience sadness. You will experience depression. You will experience everything in life. God said, I gave you everything, including death. So we have to understand that we have it all in the world and we can play any of these parts at any given time. Today, all of us could be millionaires. Tomorrow, we could be asking somebody for a dime. And that's just the reality of life. And today, I ate well. Tomorrow, I might be looking for $1.50 to get me a piece of chicken from the Arab chicken place. And I know what I'm talking about because I've been there. So we can't take our situation in our life for granted, and don't always take your station for granted. Don't always assume because you're sitting in a good place that it's always been like that for you and everybody else can't get there, because at any given time, you could have played any of these parts, or you will play any of these parts. So I don't know if that hit home to anybody, but for me, this could go on for hours because it's a very lengthy conversation. The quote is just talking about a lot of important things, because sometimes we just have a tendency to think that we're better than somebody without realizing what journey somebody took to get where they are, even if it's a bad turn. If it's a bad turn. All right.
You're exactly right. And one thing we need to understand, education is not designed to make you comfortable. It is designed to make you think. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why we need to have these type of conversations on all levels of subjects and experience. So that way we have a clear understanding. So when we look out our window, our view is clear.
Right on.
So Ife, you're the younger of all of us. Okay. and we know that your world starts going north. Oh, wait a minute. That's my phone. Let's go up. Let's look up. That's where the world is right there. That's the reason why, you know, the window behind you, you know, is so small. The rear view window is so small. And the reason why the glass in front of you as you're driving, it's got a panoramic view. So you can see the world differently and you see it in living color. So Ife, how far will you go in life depends on you being tendered with the young, compassionate with the age, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and the strong. Because someday in life, you will have been all of these. George Washington Carver.
That's a very, very, very good quote to live by. It kind of reminds me of a meme that I saw on social media where it showed a young man, a man when he was young. So he had all the time in the world, very little money, and very little knowledge. Then you had him as an adult. So now he has the money. He has some time, and he's gaining experience. And then the last one was an old man. His time is running short. His energy is low. I think it was energy. That was the category. But he has all the experience. So we go through different phases of our life. If we get to live our life all the way through, we deal with different type of individuals, people that have varying experiences. And when I was listening to this quote, I was thinking of the word empathy. Not saying that we've gone through the same thing as somebody else, but just having empathy. Being able to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes, being able to understand or at least try to understand what other people are going through. Someone may be having a bad day. Someone may have just broke up with their significant other. They may be having a tough time making ends meet, especially with inflation and the cost of living not adding up to that. That's going on a lot, especially in America. There's all types of things going on, and people show up, whether it's in a social setting or they show up at work, and they're just doing the best that they can. We have different quirks or idiosyncrasies to our personalities. Even if someone says, you know, I'm this type of person, I'm that type of character, different circumstances bring out different versions of ourselves. So we have to be empathetic, be understanding. At the same time, you do have to protect your peace and guard your mental health, because at the same time as you're trying to navigate this world, there's some people that just have a destructive energy about them. They don't care about
Hater
you.
juice.
Exactly. They don't care about you. They don't care what you're doing, who you are, or who you serve. If we're taking it to a higher level, they just see you as somebody that they want to get over, somebody they want to manipulate, or somebody that they want to just clear out of their path. So, you know, with this quote, I just feel like it's a call to empathy, but it's just also a calling to understand that in life, we are going to go through various phases. At one time, we were young. At another time, we were strong. And at a certain time, we may become old. But we should never take ourselves for granted or the people around us. But at the same time, we just have to use empathy and common sense and, you know, move with a sense of compassion, but also understand that some people are just not for us. And we have to move along with the punches and keep it going.
Hey, Ife, you were describing something a little while ago, what I call a psychic vampire. I learned that about people that just need to take from you to live. Bloodsuckers of the poor or bloodsuckers of the psych, but people that just have to, their intentions towards you aren't very good. They're users.
Yeah, energy vampires. Absolutely.
Psychic vampires.
I'm going to rent that word from you. I may have to lease it from you, psychic vampire. You know, it's amazing. Every week that we have these conversations based on these quotes and how they land on each and every last one of us, it seems to be the common attractions of conversations that are about to be had or experiences that we've just experienced. And I wrote down today, and it's funny, just before this, and I have it right here. It says some people pull more from you than they do to you. And then, as you said a long time ago, everyone has its seasons. And when I brought up my experience with Mr. Danny Glover, you reminded me the reason why I felt the way I did in that moment is because Danny Glover at that time was my hero.
Right.
The nice thing about that experience, I came about, you know, as a writer, I said, a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich. I said, when you meet the person that you have placed at a higher level than everyone else, and then they show you who they are at that moment, reality sets in. And that's the reason why at the tender young age that I was at, and now that I am at that age when I'm at a different season, I have to show compassion, because you have educated me and said that he may have been in a different place at that time, even though we were at a celebrity event. And instead of shaking my hand, he looked down at me and asked me to go get me popcorn and a Coke. And I said, fuck you. And that was just my immaturity of that time. I probably would have responded with something just as sarcastic and humorous at that moment. But he spoke down to me at that time. And he's a big time movie star. Here I am. I was my first time published author, and I was invited to play basketball at a celebrity event. And he was the coach, and, you know, the PR people introduced me, and that was my experience. But, you know, we have to look at these troubled times. I was in the company of a U.S. senator yesterday here in Pennsylvania, and they were struggling with the fact that the world was falling apart in a handbag because white supremacy under different titles now was affecting government policy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were afraid that, going through this next election, what was going to happen to us as the people. And my response is, how can I help? What can I do? Use my platform, use my voice to educate people. We just had a whole podcast on a young lady that I helped with the conversation of her coming out to her parents. It's an uncomfortable conversation. And since that interview, I've been contacted by 3 other people, especially Black people, that were struggling. And I told this young lady, you think it's hard being different when you're white or someplace else. Just think how it's hard to be LGBT or whatever the acronyms stand for, whatever, when you're Black.
Mm.
Okay. We are hard on our people on all type of levels, be it our success, be it at our failures, and be it on the 6 o'clock news. I mean, we all look at the fact that when something bad happens on the 6 o'clock news, all 3 of us just said, I hope it's not Black. Because the world looks at us this way. So when we're young, I talk about this all the time, is that your why is constantly being defined. As you get older, you come closer to your why. As you get old and you've had your years, when you no longer have 30 years in front of you, you actually know your why. You either live your life with a sense of purpose and compassionate, sympathetic and empathetic to those of other people that live and breathe the same air you have, or you suffer the plight of your own self-destruction of humanity within your heart. So with that said, that's my take on George Washington Carver. And I'm sure the people that are listening to us, they have their own interpretation, and it's okay. There's no right or wrong in this space. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Again, our mission is to inspire, share stories and experiences and perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. And our whole purpose, not only of this podcast, Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends, but talking with Kevin and Son, which Ife is the co-host, and everything we do is to help other people, creating hope. And I think where there's hope, opportunity is planet where we can thrive and strive. So enough of me being very, very didactic. Naheem, let's talk about life. How you living?
I'm living well, thank you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Even in my hard times, I'm blessed. This Hocus Pocus movie will be out soon, and a few others will come out soon, and I'll have a moment on screen, hopefully, and get to enjoy it. And I pray to God that more work keeps coming, bigger parts. I'm going to be sitting at the Fan Film Expo. I'm sitting on a panel having a discussion about, how to make it in Boston. And the casting company said something about trying to get more Black people to be extras in movies. And my thing is, no, how do we get more of the Black people in Boston to play principal parts? And I know one thing that I, as an individual, need to do is you just got to work harder. You got to be more so dynamic, so intense that when they see you, they gotta think twice about, wait a minute. We need to reconsider this lead part, or we need to look at this principal part. Did you see what that boy just did? Did you see what that young lady just did? And wrapping it up with what we talked about, George Washington Carver, and looking at that situation, it just sparked something. I think when he wrote this quote, he wanted the world to know that there's no reason to hate each other on whatever level we are. Because at the end of the day, you're right. The world is falling apart like a wet paper bag. It's ugly. It's ugly. Every time you look at the news, now we got this since I can remember, there's been a pandemic since I can remember. It's always something traumatizing. AIDS was, that's it. I thought when AIDS came out, I said, what's next? Something's going to kill us in the air. And then later on, here comes COVID. And now we got this monkeypox. I mean, it's just like, what in the world is going on? That if somebody wants to describe hell, it's here. If somebody wants to describe heaven, it's here. The same thing George was saying, at some point we will all have played these parts. we all would be in these places. So my life is good. I can't complain. Even if I did, it wouldn't matter because I still got to face forward and move forward. As I'm getting myself ready to go participate with my family in praising the Lord this morning. So with that said, I'm living good. I'm in good company. I'm glad to be alive, glad to wake up this morning and contribute my 2 cents in the world get better. And
man, you didn't drop 2 cents in here. Most of us carry dime. you got dollar bills going everywhere. All right, you got it all going everywhere. Hey, and I'm going to say this to Hollywood. You know, we need to be correct with providing opportunities. You know, quit putting people as extras. People need to pay their bills and whatever. You've got the budget. Give someone a chance. Quit asking someone that is not Hispanic to play a role to be Hispanic because they deserve it. Quit casting white people as Indians when there's Indian actors that can be there. Quit putting heterosexual males and females into other relationships that are not naturally casted to be. There are naturally casted people out there, are actors and actresses that live that life, that know that experience. Be honest with the truth of the roles that you play.
Amen.
Come on, guys.
Amen.
Come on, quit being so defensive. Hollywood, be real. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to create content that educates people on the true heroes of our history. And then also showcase the people that complicated our history and the reason why we're fighting so strong. So I'm gonna go back and get off my high horse right now. Ife, how you living?
It's always an honor on Sundays, even though sometimes I'm literally rolling out of bed for this conversation. Tomorrow is August 1st. I really just want to get in that creative zone. I think I have the gift of just being able to speak eloquently and be able to put pen to paper or put thoughts in electronic form that people gravitate to. So just look out for more things with RMK Productions, where we're going to delve into the music and entertainment a little bit more. That's what Kevin has said. Hey, young man, go ahead and start putting that together. So in the next few weeks, I'm just going to be writing out concepts and look out for some new stuff through RMK. But other than that, just the same. I offer music consultations. I'm working with a few artists and just navigating through the landscape of music, because you don't even really need to have a hit record. But if you do have a song that can be used in television, film, or commercial, you can still get to a bag. So I'm looking to delve more and get deeper into the sync licensing world, where they have to pay you for using your music, but you still retain your rights. So I just want to drop a little nugget in there. But yeah, that's what I'm working on, and just keep looking out for more amazing. We don't call them interviews anymore, Kevin. We call them conversations.
Conversations.
People. Yeah. We have amazing conversations with people whose stories need to be told. So if you need your story told, or you know somebody that's an unsung hero, RMK Productions. We don't discriminate. We're not looking for people with a high follower count. We need people that are involved in the community and have a story to tell and are making a difference in this world. Thank you.
Man, you
check that was a nice one. That was a good wrap up.
He put that on. I don't even have to say the closing remarks, but I do have to say we meet every Sunday religiously at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone is welcome. If you like what you've heard or you like to participate, go to RMK Productions and Networks on our YouTube page and subscribe and follow. Reach out to us and we will be more than happy to share the link. You could be a co-host on Motivational Sundays. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I always walk away a little higher because I've learned a little bit more. I'm inspired. I adapt this hashtag, find 1,000 reasons to be kind to someone. You guys see me write it. My grandfather always said, when you get to a place in life that you can help someone, it is your duty to do so. Amen. Reach one, teach one. Mm-hmm. And with that, we'll fade to black.
All right.
All right.
All right. All right.